Hey YouTube, this is Corlash1990, and today I have another Sorcery TCG deck tech focusing on another aspect to this game, and this one is a budget deck. It's essentially only using cards that are ordinary and exceptional. There are no elites and there are no uniques in this deck. Yeah, uniques and elites, yeah. And the idea is just if you have like 20 bucks laying around, you want to try this game out, you didn't get the precons, you know, just buy a bunch of just commons and uncommons, kind of like the popper format for Magic, and just throw a deck together. I did a deck like this for all of the beta like ordinary avatars, so like these ones. What is it, like Spark Mage, Wave Shaper, Flame Caller, and whatever, Geomancer. Like that's all four. I might be missing. I don't know. The ones that are like this though, that come the precons. But yeah, this to show that you can do a deck on a budget and it'd still be pretty decent. Like uniques and elites are very good cards, hence why they're, the higher rarity. But they don't, they don't prevent you from playing this game by any means and at least holding up your own in some way or another. There's a lot of just solid cards in here just at that rarity. And this deck I made is more of like a mortal theme, and it's built to then progress upwards. Like if you like this deck and you like how it's playing, there are some very obvious elites and uniques that you can then later buy as singles, and this slowly change this deck out, adding those cards in, kind of like a progression type of a deck. And then towards the end of it, when you get everything you have a very well fine-tuned, very thematic, very consistent, deck. So all four of them that I made all have like this like upgrade path they'll go along with them. And yeah, this one I just decided to go with like a mortal theme. And Geomancer is definitely my favorite of like the pre-con like ordinary avatars for the beta set anyway. Geomancer is just awesome, like right up my alley for what this game wants to do. So anyway, enough talking. I'll start going into the deck now. So Geomancer is a 20 health, 1 attack, very standard. Has the tap, player draws sight, and if you played an earth sight, which that's pretty much all we have, you fill a void adjacent to you, not adjacent to the site, but adjacent to you, your avatar, with rubble. And that'll come into play with the next ability, which is what makes Geomancer kind of stand out from the other avatars. You can then gain the ability to tap, replace an adjacent rubble, adjacent to you, again, not a site you're playing, with the topmost side of your atlas. So later on, this enables you to not have to waste time to either tap draw a site or to choose to draw sites. You can just continually draw from your spellbook and just keep playing, random sites off the top of your deck, kind of a thing. It helps you just draw more cards instead of having to like waste time or spend time drawing from your atlas instead of your spellbook. That's like this whole avatar's shtick. So going to the atlas deck, it's again, try to keep it as basic as possible. So I am playing bedrock, playing 2 of them. It can't be moved, destroyed, or modified, meaning it can't be flooded. Bedrock is just, it's there. When you play it, it's there. Very good against water if you play it in the right spaces. I play 3 vantage hills. Ranged units atop this side at +1 range. There is a fair amount of range in this deck, so this comes in quite handy. And Holy Ground, it's good late game, but early game when you haven't taken any damage, it sucks. And after you're on death's door and they're waiting for the final blow, this also doesn't do anything. So I was arguing dropping to 2 of this and upping to 3 of bedrock. If you find that more useful, you go for it, And then basically just 4 of all of the ordinary villages: humble, rustic, and simple. And you want to be creating soldier tokens off these things as often as possible. This is kind of like a mortal swarm type of a deck that has a lot of ramp, because Geomancer naturally just ramps. And then you can ramp into some bigger stuff like this, which is like a Lord type of effect. A Lord meaning it buffs everything. Or just this very solid, 5 power body that's also immortal. So that is the Atlas deck. We'll now go into the Spellbook. Keep those kind of out of the way. They're kind of not cooperating. And I also kept this deck unsleeved to really just keep it as budget as possible. And, back in the day with Magic, I used to just have my decks unsleeved in like a sandwich bag, or if I didn't have a sandwich bag, they were rubber band. Yes, I was like one of those casual kids running around bringing my cards to school and stuff. And kind of wanted to relive that with this deck tech. So anyway, let's go into the mortals. I have 3 of House Arn Bannerman. It's a 4 cost, 2 power, and yeah, other nearby allies have +1 power. So pretty solid beefer there, especially with all the little soldier tokens we're going to be making. I have 3 of yourke crossbowmen, 3 cost, 3 power, ranged, and takes no damage from ranged strikes. So this is some of our ranged stuff that we have. These next 7 cards, I'm going to talk about both of these together. The 4 land surveyor and 3 frontier settlers. These are some of my favorite cards in this game. As far as what they actually do. Land surveyor, just Genesis, draws a site, which is great because that really just fits into what Geomancer does, which is not wanting to tap or choose to draw sites. You want to be drawing spells, and this allows you to continue getting those sites into your hand. And then Frontier Settlers is like a mini Pathfinder, essentially, is how I like to look at it. 2 cost, 1 power, you can tap, reveal, and play your topmost site to an adjacent void or rubble, adjacent to him. And then Frontier Settlers moves there and then loses that ability. So they literally move to a new area and settle there and make their little colony there, and then lose the ability because they don't need to move and settle anymore. The theme and flavor on this card hurts that it's just so good. This card is also just fantastic too. So fitting in with the whole making us draw more spells so we can get all of our sites into our hand and in play and so on and so forth. I'm running 4 copies of Belmotte longbowmen, 3 cost, 3 power, ranged. Pretty short, sweet, and to the point. And if you don't know what ranged is, generally a unit can tap to move and then attack, or tap to attack. These things can just tap and then strike something equal to their power. That's basically what ranged does. And then for some of our bigger, beefier units, I am running 4 of Amazon Warriors. It is just at 5 cost, 5 power, no abilities. 5 power is pretty high in this game. That is a quarter of an avatar's life, even attacking a site. These are pretty good. So this is some of our heftier stuff to ramp into. Now if the rest of the deck is a bunch of non-unit cards, if you wanted to cut some of these to run more units, or if you wanted to get away from the mortal theme, Pudge Butcher is a great card to ramp into. Or later on, if you wanted to swap these out for 2 Conqueror Worm, 2 Mountain Giant, you can totally do that and keep the rest of this stuff. It's kind of just up to you and what you got going on. But for the Magic cards, I am running 3 Call to War. It's a 2 cost. You search your spellbook for an exceptional mortal, reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So plenty of things to search for here. We got 3 pretty good targets. I'm also running 4 Common Sense, which in this pauper format, this card is super good. It's an ordinary card that costs 2, and you search your spellbook for an ordinary card. So essentially doubling all the numbers of all of our ordinary stuff. So this is literally what you need. Whenever you need whatever you're looking for, this will end up being what you need. It's removal, more presence on the field, a token generator, which I'll get into right now. Just kind of whatever. This card's fantastic in the pauper format. But we're running 4 Border Militia. It's a 3 cost, and you summon a foot soldier token to each site you control that borders an enemy site, which will probably be a fair amount because we're going to be playing sites like crazy in this deck. We're going to be making our presence very well known very fast. So this card can generate a decent amount of soldier tokens on top of all of our sites, most of them on top of that, generating more tokens, and it gets kind of crazy and out of hand. I'm also playing 4 Overpower, which is a 1 cost. Just simple. Give an ally +2 power this turn. So makes your weaker stuff able to handle some of the beefier stuff, or your beefier stuff just completely annihilate some of your opponent's stronger stuff. Pretty solid, straightforward card there. And to round the deck off, a bit of removal, which is 4 Bury. It's a 3 cost. This burrow target minion or artifact if able. And seeing most of our sites are, all of them are not water, we're pretty much able to bury anything that kind of steps onto our turf. And yeah, that is the deck. This deck's awesome. I play tested it a few times against some of my non-budget decks, and it does hold its own. I will say it's not going to win every single game, obviously, but it does not lose every single game either. These basic avatars, the precon ones, all 4 of them are exceptional. This one just hit me the most out of the 4-1. I love all the greens and the yellows. And I really like sights and the Atlas for this game. And this deck, this like avatar really just focuses on that a lot. And it's also fun just to swarm the field with all of these crazy little soldier tokens and then kind of just ping your opponent to death and drop a couple of these in the same area. And all of a sudden you have a bunch of 3, power like minions everywhere. And ranged is really annoying too. Just tapping and doing damage, being, indirect with how you're doing stuff. It's pretty cool. And yeah, this isn't actually like a bad finisher for the Pauper format. It's probably one of the better ones in my opinion because it doesn't have like landbound or waterbound or any of that stuff. It's just it's a 5 power minion and it's there to beat face, So yeah, for people who are like new to this game who don't have like the $150 to buy a booster box or they didn't buy a bunch of stuff, you can play this game budget and still have a fantastic time. Trust me, I have play tested all 4 of the decks I have. It's even funner when you're playing budget decks versus budget decks because the games tend to go a little bit longer. There's more back and forth, I feel. And longer games to me are the better ones. They're the ones that tell the most unique and intricate stories. So yeah, if you build this deck or something like this, or if you have any other budget like deck ideas, let me know in the comments down below. I would greatly appreciate, looking up all that stuff because I'm learning about this game as well, along with everyone else. And it's been one heck of a journey. And I seriously can't wait for the months to come and see what people are doing with this game and all the crazy concoctions they're coming up with. It's pretty cool. I haven't felt this excited about a card game in a very long time. And it is a nice breath of fresh air for sure. But anyway, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.